Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. So we're going to be starting the front page review paper by paper, and I know Mariam is ready to go.
Yeah, so I have it. This is the Tribune. Dangote Foundation targets 1 million Nigerians with 1 million bags of rice worth 16 billion naira. So over 1 million Nigerians nationwide will receive a 10 kg bag of rice each, as Aliko Dangote Foundation Thursday launched its 2025 annual National Food Intervention Project valued at 16 billion. Mr. Aliko Dangote, who was represented by his daughter Marya Aliko-Dangote, said that this is an annual initiative which embodies compassion, solidarity, and shared responsibility. It's part of our response to the current economic challenges facing our nation. It reflects our commitment to supporting our communities in line with our core values. They said that the distribution of the 1 million bags of 10 kg rice to the poor and most vulnerable in Nigeria in the 774 local government areas is in line with their core values. It will start from Kano State, and then they'll go on ahead, and they're working closely with state governments so that these bags of rice get to the most vulnerable. I said this is a job for the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs. I know that they've been working on collating information, proper information and data on our most vulnerable, so that every time there are interventions like that, it gets to the people. So I hope that the foundation works with that department, making sure that,
the right people
everyone
get it.
Yes, everyone gets that.
Okay, so I have a story from The Punch. I'm talking Tedford plans 700 billion disbursement to varsities. They said the president has approved the disbursement of over 700 billion naira to tertiary institutions through the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, with benefiting universities expected to get 2.8 billion. They said the TED Fund boss, that's Sonny Echono, announced this at a strategic planning meeting. He said that the allocation structure, stating that 91.08% of the funds will be distributed directly, 48.90% for annual direct disbursement, 42.18% for special direct disbursements. He also said 8.72% is for designated projects, then 0.20% is allocated to stabilization funds. He said every university will receive 2.8 billion, polytechnics 1.9 billion, colleges of education 2.1 billion as annual direct disbursement. He said that they are all going to focus on physical infrastructure, upgrading, rehabilitating, and renovating dilapidated facilities in all these institutions. And he also said that they're going to increase allocations for research and innovation, academic staff training and development, as well as manuscript and book development.
Okay.
He also urged that institutional heads to commence early implementation of their allocations, consult with their communities, and ensure timely payments to contractors and vendors. I hope that with these funds there won't be strike, so that at least our students will be able to graduate in time.
Go back to school.
Yeah.
So I also have a story in the Tribune. Custom intercepts undeclared $1.1 million at Kano Airport. The person carried cash. The Nigerian Customs Service said it had intercepted undeclared 1.1 million, that's US dollars, and 135,900 Saudi riyals at the Malam Aminu Kano International Airport in Kano. And according to the news agency of Nigeria, the NCS spokesperson, Abdullahi Maiwada, was the one who talked about this yesterday, and he said the seizure was made recently during a routine baggage check on an inbound passenger who arrived on Saudi airline flights from Saudi Arabia. And he explained that during the physical examination of the passenger's luggage by NCS officers, the undeclared currency was found concealed within packs of palm dates. They said interception aligned with NCS commitment to enforcing financial regulations and preventing illicit financial flows across Nigeria borders. In line with the established procedures, the suspect and the seized foreign currency have been handed over to the EFCC, that's the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, for further investigation, and then necessary legal action will be taken. Subsequently, the court convicted the defendant as charged and ordered the forfeiture of the undeclared money to the federal government in line with provisions of the Money Laundering Act. you know that anytime you're traveling now, they ask you to declare. I think an individual is not supposed to go with more than $10,000. You have to declare it. And this person had mind to bring in 1.1 million. Please, how many luggages? How did they pack the money?
They said they eat it inside gates now. So that's money laundry. That's
that's it.
That's how they
$1.1 million. Are we
There's
faint
money.
when I see that money?
There's
Are we
money.
faint?
There's money.
Are we
Father,
faint?
I'm
How will
here.
you
I'm a
faint?
vessel.
No, if I see it like
Moving
that.
on to moving. Let me take a story from Vanguard. So the issue regarding the tax reform, which has been signed by the speaker, is something every Nigerian should be aware of, because whether you are aware of it or not, its impact would it would impact on your finances. But one of the things that they struck out of that was the desire to increase the tax, the VAT. The plan was that by 2026 to be 12.5%, but the National Assembly has said that they were going to retain the VAT at 7.5%, but they changed how it was going to be shared. So 50% to be shared equally, 20% will be shared based on population, and 30% based on production, which is wherever consumption, wherever the VAT, not where it is paid, where the product was consumed is where 30% of the funds will go to. But something of interest that I feel everybody should also pay attention to is the fact that what they just passed now, there are a few exemptions. Before, the governors and presidents cannot give, what was omitted, grant tax waivers. And there's always been question about these tax waivers. Now, before a president or the governor can grant tax waivers, they must come to the National Assembly for approval. Before those tax waivers. Nigeria is still one of the countries where we pay the lowest tax in Africa. That's the truth. So we might not like the idea of a tax reform that is increasing the burden on us financially. There's now a 2 million naira fine and a maximum jail term of 3 years if you are found bribing a tax official. I was waiting to see if there will be fine for the tax official that is extorting as well, so that we're not putting the burden on just one side. But there are many things we should get ourselves abreast on concerning the tax reform. Mariam, back to Tribune.
Back to Tribune. So I have this sad story. The National Emergency Management NEMA Southwest Zone has said over 500 shops were raised at the Aleshiloye market in Ibadan. This happened Wednesday. The NEMA zonal coordinator, using his X handle, says that the recorded losses, NEMA puts the recorded losses at hundreds of millions of naira. He added that some of the affected traders had taken delivery of their plastic wares a day prior to the incident. But he said the inferno has disrupted economic activities at the market. No fatality was recorded, thank God. But several people sustained minor injuries from smoke inhalation and shock while attempting to salvage their goods. 500 shops and stalls were destroyed. The eyewitness says the fire started at the plastic plastic merchant section before it spread to surrounding stores. As we know, plastic is quite flammable, so that's where most of it started. And they are working together with NEMA as well as some private companies like Sumal and Sweetco to help prevent further spread of the fire and just help with containing it. And the next thing I guess we're talking about is insurance, hoping that they're able to get back on their feet somewhat. This is really sad.
I think insurance company needs to market a lot of markets
I'm
more.
sure they do.
Market
So
more.
get them.
But people never trust
and
till this kind of thing happens.
Yeah, so I have the federal government, that's the foreign airlines, begin talks with Rising first. They said the federal government, through the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace, that's Festus Kiam, has disclosed ongoing efforts to address the high cost of air tickets for both domestic and international travels. And he outlined key factors contributing to these exorbitant fares. He said there is limited access to affordable aircraft listing, then trapped funds of foreign airlines and high airport taxes. He also noted that that the struggle to lease aircraft at competitive rates is forcing them to opt for costly leasing of the outright purchase of the aircraft, which ultimately affects ticket prices. That's the reason why the ticket price is very, very high. But that they are working on how they can lease this aircraft at a lower cost, such that so that the fares will be less and so that people will be able to afford it as much as possible. So works is going on.
Yeah, so I have the story here by the Catholic
Vanguard,
bishops. Vanguard. Nigeria on the brink, but there's hope. So the Catholic Bishops Conference of Nigeria, CBCN, has cautioned that the country stands at a critical juncture and worsening socio-economic hardship and insecurity, but they said that there's still hope. We just have to keep hoping. And they called on the leaders and citizens to take responsibility for driving positive change. Now, in a communique yesterday, following their first plenary meeting of 2025, the bishops outlined their concerns and recommendations for national development. The communique was by the National Director of Social Communications, Fr. Michael Omo, by Archbishop Lucius Ugoji, who is the president of the CBCN, and Bishop Donatus Ogun, secretary of the CBCN, and they acknowledged that there's progress in the petroleum sector, road rehabilitation, student loans, a new minimum wage, and debt reduction. All these things, we're seeing the efforts. But they said that the gains have been overshadowed by severe economic hardship, food inflation, and insecurity. They also stated that despite recent positive development, Nigeria faces serious challenges, including socioeconomic hardships, insecurity, rising youth unemployment, and high cost of essential goods. And they are asking that we all work together to pursue unity and national integration. Political, religious, and traditional leaders must also foster hope and development. They talked about the Nigeria electoral system as well. They said, well, 2023, we didn't do so badly, but people should not lose faith. We need to do better for the next one. So they are calling on the Independent National Electoral Commission, that's INEC, security agencies and judiciary to restore the trust in the system, among other things they talked about.
That's what we can take on Front Page Review for today. There was a story that really caught my eye about inmates dying in custodial centers due to poor feeding condition, and it is a major one. There's a particular group of people, independent investigative panel on the alleged corruption, abuse of power, torture, cruel, inhumane and degrading treatment of inmates against the Nigerian Correctional Service. They actually checked all the correctional services and they said every single one of them, the food that you would see being eaten by inmates is so small that people are dying of starvation, and that the custodial centers actually have farms, 12 farms, but very few of those farms are working. And the ones working, when the food produced by the prisoners are not being consumed by them. They are sold. So they need food, but the farm is producing food and the food is being sold and then brought back into the place. There's something fishy going on there. If it is truly a custodial and correctional center, we should be doing better to those people there. We'll take a break now. When we return, we'll continue with the show. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.